Captain Dae Hyan stood on the upper deck of the Terran Defense Command Center, watching the quiet screens that filled the room with soft blue light. Earth looked peaceful from orbit, but he knew that peace could change in a single moment. For many years, humanity had lived in silence, hiding its true strength from the galaxy. Now that silence was beginning to break far beyond the solar system, rumors had reached the Galactic Empire. Strange signals, unidentified energy readings, uncharted traffic moving near the outer fringes of the spiral arm. The Empire did not like surprises. When it heard whispers about a blue planet on the edge of nowhere, it decided to investigate. Commander Rian, serving in the Empire's frontier fleet, received the assignment without warning. He was known for discipline, caution, and loyalty. His ship, the Vera Prime, carried a small but efficient crew. None of them expected trouble. They believed they would scan a primitive world and return home. But the signals told another story. Inside Earth's hidden command center, Lieutenant Su-min leaned forward as her console beeped. She checked the readings twice before speaking, because what she saw made her pulse quicken. Captain. Unknown ship on long-range scans. Very faint. Possibly scouting patterns. Dae Hyan did not flinch. He had waited many years for this moment. Location? He asked. Near the outer edge of the Kuiper Belt. Slow approach. They are testing us. He gave one short nod. Begin silent observation. Su-min adjusted the tracking algorithms. She felt a knot in her stomach. Humanity had prepared for this, but preparation never felt like reality until the moment arrived. For decades, Earth had remained hidden behind advanced cloaking fields and fake energy signatures. No one in the galaxy suspected the truth, that humans were no longer the fragile species others believed them to be. The secret Supercarrier, Aegis Rising, was proof of that. A massive ship built in secret orbital factories, hidden on the far side of the moon. Only a few commanders, engineers, and pilots had ever seen it. To the rest of the world, it was only a rumor, a myth shared among classified circles, but it was real. And soon, the galaxy would know. Dae Hyan walked across the deck toward the large window overlooking Earth. He watched the quiet rotation of clouds and continents. This planet, small yet brave, had survived countless crises. Now it might face something far greater than anything before. Behind him, Engineer Haru entered, brushing off metal dust from her hands. I finished the shield harmonic update, she said. The Supercarrier's new frequency range is stable. Stronger than last week. Good, Dae Hyan replied. We might need it soon. Haru paused. They finally came, didn't they? Su-min answered without looking away from her display. A scout ship. Imperial design. Slow but careful. Haru exhaled. So the rumors reached them. They always do, Dae Hyan said quietly, while Earth's leaders argued for years about how to handle future contact. The Empire had begun pushing deeper into outer territories. That pressure forced humanity to prepare, even if it meant building weapons and ships no outsider must ever see docked in deep space. Commander Rian watched the faint blue planet grow larger on the view screen. His sensors reported strange disturbances. Tiny jumps in energy. Small fluctuations in empty space. It made no sense. Sir, his chief navigator said, the atmosphere is normal, but there is something around the planet. A field of some kind. Rian raised an eyebrow. A primitive world cannot maintain a global shield. Maybe the sensor is malfunctioning? The navigator suggested, but Rian had learned long ago that machines rarely lied. Their readings might confuse, but they never invented information. We continue observing. He ordered. The Vera Prime adjusted its distance, moving slowly along its path. It did not know it was being watched. Back on Earth, Su-min tracked every movement the ship made. Her fingers tapped across her console as she monitored the ship's power levels and communication patterns. She could feel the anxiety of the room growing. Should we reveal ourselves? She asked quietly. Dae-Hyan shook his head. Not yet. Let them look. Let them wonder. We reveal nothing until required. Su-Min nodded, though she knew how dangerous waiting could be. Hours passed. The Imperial scout continued scanning the region. It detected nothing, at least, nothing it could understand. The cloaking networks surrounding Earth were too advanced. Every time the scout attempted a deeper reading, the network returned false echoes. Rian frowned. This planet is not simple, he muttered later that night. Earth's Defense Council gathered for an emergency meeting. A large round table sat in the center of the darkened chamber, lit only by a soft glow from the holographic projection in the middle. The image showed the Imperial ship. Counselor Jin-Tae, serious and calm, opened the discussion. It has entered the outer sector. Estimated time before closer approach, 4 hours. Do we make contact? Another counselor asked. Jin-Tae turned to Dae-Hyan. Your recommendation? Dae-Hyan took a moment before speaking. Not yet. We continue silent observation. If they cross the hidden marker line, we will deploy the Aegis Rising. A quiet silence filled the room. The name still made some counselors uneasy. Are we ready? One of them asked. Dae-Hyan answered without hesitation. Yes. The council ended the meeting. Dae-Hyan returned to the command deck, where Su-Min stood waiting. They crossed the outer marker. She reported. Dae-Hyan stopped walking. When? 3 minutes ago. He closed his eyes briefly. The moment had come. Prepare the supercarrier. He ordered. Haru immediately rushed toward the engineering bay to run the final checks. Su-Min sent encrypted signals through hidden channels, waking systems that had been asleep for years. Far above Earth's shadowed side, deep inside a cloaked dry dock, the Aegis Rising began to hum. Its engines, silent for so long, warmed to life. Massive panels shifted, revealing its long dark hull. Lights flickered across its armored surface as systems activated. The Empire had no idea what awaited them. But fate had another twist. Before the Aegis Rising could fully activate, Su-Min gasped, Captain, the scout ship, it disappeared from our sensors. Dae-Hyan turned quickly. How? I don't know. One moment it was there. The next, nothing. He studied the readings, but everything looked normal. Haru returned, worried. Did we lose them? No, Dae-Hyan said slowly. They changed tactics. They turned off their major systems and are drifting. They want us to reveal ourselves. Rian, from the other side of the void, indeed waited in silence. He hoped a passive position would force the unknown planet to make a mistake. But Earth did not make mistakes. Dae-Hyan looked at Su-Min. Continue tracking. No light. No signal. She nodded. Then, minutes later, the unexpected happened. Captain, Su-Min whispered, another ship just arrived. Bigger. Imperial. A follow-up scout? Haru asked. No, Su-Min said. A reconnaissance cruiser. The room fell silent. The Empire had escalated. Dae-Hyan straightened. Power up the Aegis Rising. This time fully. The hidden supercarrier awakened. And with it, the galaxy's balance began to shift. Captain Dae-Hyan stood on the command deck again, feeling the deep vibration of the hidden supercarrier as it reached full power. The Aegis Rising had slept for many years, but now its engines filled the dry dock with a steady, rising hum. Lights moved along its long black hull, and energy fields wrapped around it like shining waves. Even though it remained cloaked to all outside sensors, the ship felt alive. Su-Min monitored the incoming data from her station. Her voice stayed calm. but her eyes showed the tension she tried to hide. The Imperial cruiser has taken a stable position near the outer edge of the system. It is sending long-range scans. Stronger than before. Haru stepped beside her, wiping sweat from her forehead after finishing the final engine checks. Their scans still cannot reach us. Our field distortions are holding. They will push harder, Daehyun said. They cannot return home with nothing to report. Inside the Imperial cruiser, Commander Rian paced across his bridge. He had never seen a system behave like this. Every scan returned strange errors. Every attempt at deeper detection felt as if the space around the blue planet twisted the signals. His engineers kept checking the systems, but nothing was wrong. Why does this planet hide? Rian wondered aloud. The communications officer finally turned from her console. Commander, the scout ship still has not returned. Should we begin a closer inspection? Rian frowned. Not yet. We proceed slowly. If this world is not primitive, we must avoid provoking them. He believed caution would protect them. He did not know that Earth's own patience was running out. Daehyun watched the large hologram in front of him, showing both Imperial ships drifting near the edge of the system. They were getting bolder. They were not leaving. That meant only one thing. They will call for more ships, he said. Should we act first? Su-min asked. No, we will still wait. But we must prepare for contact. Real contact this time. Haru looked up sharply. You think they will try to land? If they believe we are weak, Daehyun said softly, yes. The Aegis Rising's engines roared once more, stabilizing at full operational strength. Its massive frame shifted slightly, now free from all docking locks. Deep inside, drone wings waited in long rows, and gravity lance platforms hung quietly beneath armored panels. For the first time in its history, the Supercarrier was fully awake. Daehyun tapped his wristband, opening a secure channel. All decks, prepare for deployment. Maintain stealth. No signals sent beyond the field. Across the ship, thousands of crew members took their positions. Although the ship had existed for many years, this was the first time most of them would see it moving outside the dry dock dot in the Imperial cruiser. Rian felt a faint tremor through space, something tiny, like a whisper of power. He looked sharply at his sensor officer. Did you feel that? The officer stared at his controls. Yes, a pulse of some kind. Very small. Not natural. Rian leaned forward. Direction? Near the planet. But it vanished instantly. Rian's eyes narrowed. Something was waking up on that silent world. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Defense Council gathered again. Some members looked tired, others nervous. Jin Tae began the meeting quickly. We have 2 Imperial ships in our system. They are not withdrawing. Our intelligence suggests they will send a large fleet soon. We must decide our next step. One counselor cleared his throat. Is it not too soon to reveal the Aegis Rising? Another shook her head. If we do nothing, the Empire will think they can control us. The room fell quiet. Everyone turned toward Dae-Hyun. He stood still for a long moment before speaking. We do not reveal ourselves yet, but we cannot hide anymore. If the Empire acts, we will respond. And they must understand that Earth is not weak. The Council agreed reluctantly. As Daehyun walked back to the command deck, he knew what this meant. Waiting for the Empire to act meant danger. But acting too soon meant starting a war they were not ready for. He found Su-min still working at her console. Status? He asked. The Imperial cruiser is sending another wave of scans. Much stronger. Keep the counter field at maximum, he said. Haru rushed in, holding a datapad. Captain, the main shield harmonics are stable, but if the Empire sends more than 2 cruisers, our disguise might not hold. Dae-hyun nodded slowly. Then we finish preparations before they arrive. Outside the dry dock, the massive doors began to open. Darkness drifted away as stars filled the view. The Aegis Rising slowly moved forward, its huge form almost invisible under its cloak. Its engines glowed faintly through the distortion, like distant starlight. For the first time, the Supercarrier entered open space. Datsu-Min watched it on the main display. She felt small compared to the size of the ship. "It truly looks like a moving mountain," she whispered. Haru smirked proudly. "A mountain with teeth." The Aegis Rising took position behind the moon, still hidden but ready. Inside the Imperial cruiser, alarms beeped suddenly. "Commander!" the sensor officer shouted. A gravimetric spike detected behind the natural satellite. Something huge moved. Rian jumped to his feet. "Show me." The display showed nothing. Only emptiness, but the spike was real. Rian felt a chill. Something is there. Something very large. His officers exchanged uneasy looks. "Should we retreat?" one asked. Rian shook his head. "No, we must understand what we are facing. Prepare a deep field scan. Maximum power." "Commander, that could be seen as hostile." Rian hesitated. "We do not fire. We only observe." "But observation could be just as dangerous." Datsu-Min gasped as she saw the energy build up on her screen. "Captain, the Imperial cruiser is charging a strong scan. It will hit the area around the moon." Dae-hyun closed his eyes briefly. "So they choose force." Haru stood ready at the engineering board. "What do we do?" "We hold position," Dae-hyun said. "If they cross the line, we respond." The Imperial scan fired. A large wave of energy spread across the sky, sweeping toward the moon. When it touched the hidden field around the Aegis Rising, bright ripples flashed like water. The Empire had found something. Inside the Imperial cruiser, the entire bridge went silent as the readings appeared. "Commander," the sensor officer whispered, There is something massive behind the moon, bigger than anything we have ever scanned. But the shape is not clear." Rian felt his heart beat faster. "A ship?" The officer swallowed hard. "If it is, then it is the largest ship ever built." Rian stared at the blue planet ahead of him. What are these humans hiding? Back at Earth Command, Su-min waited for Dae-hyun's order. "Captain, they know. They cannot see us fully, but they know something is there." He breathed out slowly. "Then we move to active defense. Prepare for contact." The Aegis Rising's weapons came online silently. Drone wings unfolded like metallic birds. Gravity lance towers rose from the surface of the hull. The Empire wanted answers. Earth was ready to give them, but not the answers they expected. The Aegis Rising moved slowly out of the moon's shadow, still cloaked, still silent, but no longer hidden in place. Its massive engines created faint waves in space that only the most advanced sensors could detect. Earth had finally chosen to step forward, even if the ship remained unseen. Captain Dae-hyun stood on the bridge of the Supercarrier now, having transferred from the command center to the ship itself. This was where he needed to be. Datsu-Min sat at her station beside him, monitoring the increasing activity from the Imperial cruiser. "Captain, they are preparing another deep scan, even stronger than before." Haru leaned over her engineering console, speaking quickly. "If they keep pushing their scans, they might destabilize our cloak. Not break it, but weaken it for a moment. We cannot allow them to reveal us before we are ready," Dae-hyun said. "We will choose the moment." Inside the Imperial cruiser, Commander Rian watched the screen with deep concern. His ship kept reporting strange shifts in space, as if something enormous was moving behind the moon, but every scan returned confusing interference. "Commander," the navigator said, If that is a ship, it is larger than any dreadnought in our fleet. Rian rubbed his forehead. It cannot be. A primitive world should not have such a ship. But doubt was creeping in. The communications officer spoke next. We received a message from High Command. They want a full report immediately. They say if we don't find something soon, they will send a larger reconnaissance fleet. Rian looked back at the blue planet on the screen. This world is hiding something. And if they built it, then they are not primitive. The officer lowered her voice. Should we attempt closer inspection? Rian hesitated. But before he could answer, the sensor officer cried out. New energy spike. Very strong. Coming from the moon's far side. On the Aegis rising, Haru noticed it first. Their scan is rising to maxima. They are trying to break our cloak by force. Deihayan knew there was no more time to wait. Prepare to decloak. Su Min blinked in surprise. Now, yes, but not fully. Only enough to show them we exist. Not our entire strength. She nodded and started the sequence. The moment the decloaking cycle began, space around the massive ship rippled like water touched by wind. For a brief moment, the distortion flickered, revealing the outline of something huge, metallic, dark. A live dot inside the Imperial cruiser. Every alarm flashed red. Commander. The object, it's real. Huge. It is a ship. Rian stared in shock as a shape appeared on his screen, even if just for a heartbeat. He saw large metal plates, long weapon towers, and an engine array bigger than entire Imperial transports. What kind of ship is that? He whispered, but the image was gone just as fast. Meanwhile, the Aegis rising finished its partial decloak. It remained half-hidden, but undeniable now. Captain, Su Min said, our presence is detected. They know we are here. Deihayan nodded. Good. Now they understand we are not prey. Haru checked the shield levels. Our cloak held long enough. Their scans cannot map our interior. Then we begin Phase 2, Deihayan said. Deploy the drone wings. Only 2 groups. Minimal display of force. Rows of sleek silver drones launched from the Supercarrier's lower bays, flying in tight formation. They moved quickly, disappearing into space to create a perimeter around the ship. On the Imperial cruiser, Rian's officers panicked. Commander. Multiple small craft emerging from the unknown ship. Are they fighters? Unknown. Their speed? It is far above Imperial fighter class. Rian kept his voice steady, even though his heart raced. Hold position. Do not fire. We do not know their intent. But he felt a sudden fear. This world was not what the Empire believed. Back on the Aegis rising. Tactical Officer Ji Woo reviewed the drone formation. All drones in place? They are waiting for orders. Keep them non-aggressive, Deihayan said. We respond only if the Empire acts first. Ji Woo nodded. Yes, Captain. Meanwhile, the drone wings kept a silent watch over the path between the moon and the Imperial cruiser. Their engines produced almost no heat, no signature. They moved like shadows. Inside his ship, Rian felt as though he was staring into the mouth of something far beyond Imperial understanding. The communications officer whispered, Commander, should we send a message? Rian nodded slowly. Yes, something simple. Something peaceful. He activated the channel. Unknown vessel, this is Commander Rian of the Galactic Empire. We do not wish to harm your world. Please identify yourselves. On the Aegis rising, Su Min received the message. Her eyes widened. Captain, they are trying to communicate peacefully. Haru frowned. That does not match Imperial behavior. They must be afraid, Deihayan said, or at least uncertain. He stepped forward and gave his order. Reply. Su Min sent a short message. Simple, calm. This is Earth. Leave our system. Inside the Imperial cruiser, Rian froze when the message arrived. Earth? He said quietly. So the rumors were true. One of his officers looked confused. Rumors? Rian glanced at him, but said nothing more. The Empire had kept secrets. Many secrets. The communications officer asked. Commander, do we reply? Rian shook his head. Not yet. We need more understanding. But before he could plan his next move, an urgent alarm sounded. Commander, something is happening near the relay station on the edge of the system. A small hologram opened, showing a Terran relay platform, one of Earth's hidden observation outposts. A small Imperial drone had approached it and was preparing to attach a scanning device. On the Aegis rising, Ji Wu noticed it instantly. Captain, they are trying to take one of our stations. Dai Haiyan felt anger rising in his chest. They were warned. He turned to Ji Wu. Disable the drone. Non-lethal strike. Ji Wu gave quick commands, and one of the silver drones zoomed toward the relay station. Inside the Imperial cruiser, Rian's officers stared at their screens. Commander, one of the unknown craft is moving at impossible speed. Rian could only watch as the drone fired a clean precision beam that severed the Imperial probe's connection without destroying it. A warning, not an attack, Dai Haiyan said. They will now understand that Earth defends itself. Rian stood in stunned silence. Then he whispered, We cannot fight them. Their technology. It is beyond us. But even as he said it, his officers looked to him for guidance. Commander, the navigator said, what do we do? Rian answered softly, We must send a report. High Command must see this for themselves. Su Min watched as the Imperial cruiser turned slightly. Captain, they are transmitting a long-range message. It looks like a report. Dai Haiyan exhaled. Then the Empire will come in force. Haru swallowed. Are we ready? He looked at the massive ship around them. We are as ready as we can be. The Aegis rising had revealed itself. The Empire would not forget this moment, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The message sent by the Imperial cruiser traveled across space at high speed, moving through relay tunnels toward the heart of the Galactic Empire. Commander Rian watched the transmission leave, knowing that once High Command received it, there was no turning back. They would not ignore a threat of this scale. They would not allow a hidden world to challenge their power. He stood quietly for a moment, staring at the massive shape still half hidden behind the moon. The Aegis rising did not attack, did not chase, did not show any aggression. It only defended. That alone confused him. Empires conquered. Powerful worlds showed their weapons with pride. But this world, this Earth, had stayed silent for so long. Meanwhile, on the Aegis rising, Captain Dai Haiyan remained calm but alert. He knew the Empire's next move would be large and dangerous. Su Min reviewed data on her console, her fingers never stopping. Captain, she said softly, their message has passed the outer relay point. It is now out of our reach. Haru stood beside her, checking shield strength and power levels. Once High Command sees what they found, they will send their best fleet. Not their best, Dai Haiyan said. Their largest. Haru looked at him. Do we stand a chance? Dai Haiyan gave a faint smile. Yes, but the question is not about winning a fight. The question is about surviving the Empire's fear. Earth had spent decades hiding because fear was often more dangerous than weapons. On the Imperial homeworld, High Command gathered in a dark chamber filled with glowing screens. The message from Rian played in the center. Images of the Aegis rising's outline, the drone wings, and the strange energy distortions around the moon. One High Commander stood up, his voice sharp. This is impossible. No border world could build something like this. Are we certain this is real? Another replied, our scanners verified the mass displacement. Whatever the object is, it exists. A third commander leaned forward. We cannot allow such a threat to remain near our territory. If a world we ignored for centuries built this in secret, imagine what else they could be hiding. The room grew tense. Send the Armada, the highest-ranking officer said at last. Remove this threat before it grows stronger. The decision was made. Back at the edge of the solar system, Rian received his reply. His heart sank as he read the order. They are sending the Armada, he said quietly. His officers looked horrified. Commander, that will be a full attack force, the navigator whispered. Even if the unknown ship is powerful, can they defend a whole planet? Rian did not answer. He only said, we must prepare for their arrival. But inside, he wondered if the Empire had just made a terrible mistake. Su Min noticed the change immediately. Captain, the cruiser received new orders. Dae Hyan asked, do they retreat? She shook her head. No, they are holding position. Haru muttered, so they are waiting for backup. Yes, Dae Hyan said. The Empire does not send only 1 or 2 ships when they are afraid. They send a storm. Hours passed in tense silence. The Aegis Rising stayed hidden, but ready. Earth's defense grid powered up slowly, preparing layers of shields, automated platforms, and decoy beacons. Ji Woo coordinated the drone wings, making sure they stayed in safe patterns. Then Su Min's console beeped sharply. Multiple warp signatures detected. She cried, dozens. No, more than dozens. Captain, an armada is jumping into the system. Dae Hyan stepped closer. Show me. The screen filled with rippling light as huge ships appeared one after another. Imperial destroyers, heavy cruisers, carrier ships, and command vessels stretched across space like a wall of steel. Haru stared in shock. That is not a fleet. That is an invasion force. The sky beyond the moon glowed red from the heat of warp engines. On the Imperial flagship, a strict and cold commander named Taros looked at the system map. Our goal is simple. Crush resistance. Capture their technology. Secure the planet. Rian's voice appeared on his screen. Commander Taros, I advise caution. This world is not primitive. Their ship is enormous, and their technology advanced. Taros replied with a smirk. You were afraid, Rian. I am not. Rian felt anger rise, but he stayed calm. Do not underestimate them. They have shown restraint, but they will defend themselves. Taros dismissed him. Watch and learn how real Imperial force works. The screen went dark. Rian stood silent on his bridge, feeling a deep worry he could not shake. On the Aegis Rising, the atmosphere grew tense but focused. Dae Hyan addressed his crew. Everyone, prepare for active defense. We will not attack unless necessary, but we must protect Earth at all costs. Remember this. We show strength without cruelty. We show power without chaos. We show the Empire that Earth stands with purpose. Su Min said, the Imperial Armada is moving into position. They are forming attack lines. Ji Woo watched her drone screens. Our drones are ready. Gravity Lance towers are charged. Haru checked the engines. Full jump systems are online. We can reposition instantly. Dae Hyan nodded. Good, then let us move. The Aegis Rising uncloaked fully. This time, there were no distortions. No flickers. The entire ship appeared in open space, its enormous hull stretching like a city. Its weapon arrays glowing softly, its wings of drones moving in perfect coordination. On every Imperial ship, officers froze in disbelief. What? What is that? It is bigger than any super dreadnought. No ship should be that large. Even Commander Taros paused for a moment, shocked by the sheer size of the vessel. Rian whispered, "So it is true. Earth created something beyond our imagination." Then the battle began, but not in the way the Empire expected. The Imperial Armada fired first, launching energy beams, torpedoes, and rail bursts toward the moon's far side. The Aegis Rising moved instantly, using fold jumps to appear directly in the path of the attack. Su-Min counted the incoming fire. 27 beams incoming. 5 torpedoes. Multiple rail shots. Haru shouted, "Shields at full power." The Aegis Rising's shields flared bright blue as the first wave hit. The energy crackled across its hull, shaking the ship but barely weakening the shield. G-Wu responded with perfect precision, launching counterlances. Gravity lance towers fired thin, focused beams. They did not destroy. They bent gravity. Each beam twisted enemy projectiles off course, sending torpedoes spinning away and redirecting beams into empty space. The Imperial crews gasped as their attacks missed. Taros roared, "Fire again! Fire everything!" Rian whispered, "Stop! You don't understand." The Aegis Rising fold jumped again, appearing behind the Imperial flank in a flash of light. Su-Min reported calmly, "Enemy ships confused. They cannot track our movement." P. Wu said, "Position optimal." Standing by. Daihayan gave the order. "Disable them. Non-lethal strikes only." The drone wings moved. Thousands of small drones shot forward, each delivering short electromagnetic pulses. Imperial ships across the Armada flickered, their engines shutting down one by one. Rian watched in horror as half the Armada lost power without a single casualty. Taro screamed, "What are they? How can they do this?" Rian whispered, "Earth is not the enemy you think it is." And for the first time, he wondered which side he truly belonged to. The Empire had attacked Earth, had defended and in that moment, the entire galaxy began to shift. The news of the Empire's defeat spread quickly across the galaxy. Many worlds had never heard of Earth before, and now they learned that the small blue planet had defeated one of the strongest armadas the Empire had ever sent. Rumors mixed with truth, and fear mixed with hope. Some people believed Earth possessed weapons that could destroy stars. Others said Earth had awakened ancient powers. But the truth was simple. Humanity had worked in silence for many years and built strength without telling anyone. Captain Daihayan stood on the bridge of the Aegis Rising, watching the remains of the battle disappear into the distance. The defense grid around Earth slowly powered down, and lights across the ship shifted back to normal levels. The crew was tired, but they were proud. They had protected their home. They had done something no one expected. Daihayan felt a deep heaviness in his chest. Victory was never simple. Many Imperial ships had been destroyed. Many lives had been lost. Even if the Empire had started the battle, the cost still troubled him. He hoped that this day would push the galaxy toward peace, not fear. Su-Min sat at the analysis station, eyes focused on the encrypted data taken from the Imperial flagship earlier. She had been working on it ever since the battle ended. Her hands moved slowly, carefully, as she opened each layer of the Imperial encryption. She felt nervous. The logs contained things the Empire tried to hide. Things about Earth. "Captain," she said softly, looking up from her screen, "I think you should see this." Daihayan walked to her station and looked at the lines of translated text. The more he read, the colder he felt. The Empire had known about Earth for a long time. Hundreds of years. They had watched humanity grow from afar. They had erased old records and destroyed old probes, so Earth would never learn of the galaxy too early. The Empire had feared humanity's potential. "So they hid us," Daihayan said quietly. They wanted us to stay small. Yes, Sumin replied. And they were afraid that if we entered the galaxy, we might shift the balance of power. So they decided to keep Earth isolated. Daihayan clenched his jaw. This truth changed many things. The Empire had not simply stumbled upon Earth. They had known everything. They had watched silently for generations. The battle had not been an accident. It had been the result of long fear. Moments later, a soft alert sounded across the bridge. Communication Officer Ji Wu turned from her panel. "Sir, we are receiving a broad-frequency message from the Empire," she said. "It is marked as diplomatic. No weapons signatures detected." Daihayan nodded. "Put it on screen." The holographic display lit up, showing an Imperial representative. His face was stern, but the pride normally seen in Imperial officers was missing. His tone was controlled, yet the tension was clear. "Earth Command," the representative said. "The Empire requests a ceasefire. We acknowledge your strength and wish to avoid further conflict. We ask for negotiation." The crew exchanged silent glances. No one had expected the Empire to surrender so quickly. The Empire rarely asked for peace. Usually, they demanded it. Daihayan answered calmly. "We accept negotiations, but we will not agree to any terms that place Earth under your control. That time is over." The representative nodded slowly, as if expecting that response. "We understand. We will send a diplomatic envoy." The screen faded. The bridge remained silent for a moment. Everyone felt the same thing. A shift. A turning point. The galaxy would never be the same. As the crew returned to their tasks, a door at the back of the bridge opened. Commander Rian stepped inside, escorted by 2 guards. He looked tired, troubled, but calmer than before. Daihayan turned to him. "You asked to speak with me again?" Rian nodded. "Yes, I wish to defect. I cannot serve the Empire after learning what they hid from us. They lied to their own people, to their own officers. I want to help Earth. I want to help fix what the Empire has broken." The crew watched quietly. Rian was once their enemy, but now he stood before them with sincerity in his eyes. "If you truly mean this," Daihayan said, "then your knowledge will help save lives. But betrayal of the Empire will put you in danger." Rian gave a small, sad smile. "I already chose my path. I saw how your ship fought. I saw how your people worked together. I saw hope here. Something the Empire lost long ago." Daihayan nodded. "Then welcome to Earth's side." Rian exhaled slowly, as if a great weight had lifted from him. As the hours passed, Earth prepared for negotiations with the Empire. The Aegis Rising remained in orbit, watching the stars with calm vigilance. The hidden Supercarrier was no longer hidden. The galaxy now knew about it. Many governments, groups, and old enemies of the Empire would soon become interested. In a secure hangar deep within Earth's defense network, engineers walked among gigantic shadows. Massive shapes rested under bright white lights. These shapes were larger than any ship humanity had ever shown the galaxy. Daihan stepped inside the hangar, accompanied by Haru. "It began here," Haru said with a small smile. "The Aegis Rising was only the first. We built these in secret. It took many years, many sleepless nights." Daihan looked up at the huge hulls resting in silence. There were 3 more supercarriers, each one larger than the Aegis Rising, each one filled with systems the galaxy had never seen. "The Aegis Rising was the proof," Haru continued. "These will be the shield, not for conquest, but for protection, for peace." Daihan felt a slow warmth in his chest. Humanity was no longer in the shadows, no longer alone. The Empire had tried to hide Earth. They had tried to control the galaxy through fear. But now everything had changed in a single moment, the day the Supercarrier revealed itself, and that moment had started something new. Earth was no longer the small, quiet world the galaxy ignored. Earth had stepped into the stars with strength, clarity, and purpose, and the galaxy would never forget it.